everybody.
It makes my
Happy
fingers want to
Sunday.
dance the jig.
Your hands are doing the jig. You know how hard it is to find a royalty-free Irish jig that you can play on the air?
That was a good one.
It took me 2 days to find that stupid little jig because I wasn't going to pay for it. I didn't have the money. It was like, no, there's got to be a free one out there somewhere.
You did a great job.
But and it did. The minute I heard it, it's like I could see the dancers. What do they call them? The stomp dancer.
Michael Flatley, like clogging.
Yes, clogging. Thank you, Michael Flatley. That's the first thing in my head when I heard this little tune. I said, okay, that's it.
River dance. Isn't that what he called it?
River dance. That's it. Yes, yes, yes. Well, hello, everybody. Bonjour and welcome. And thank you for coming. And as you can see, I have the lovely Juno in her fabulous gloved hands, which I love those gloves. They're now on my wish list. And we're going to talk about the Jin Shin Jyutsu. Did I say that right? Jyutsu. Okay. And then after we do that, we'll do some destiny cards and some questions. So don't put in your birth dates yet. Wait until we ask for it because I'll never keep up. And what we're gonna do is Juno's gonna do a reading from your birth date for the destiny card, and then I'm gonna pull an oracle card to go with it. And that way I'm not making her do all the work. I'm actually contributing to it. So anyhow, I see a whole bunch of people in here. We've got, let's go back to the beginning. We got Shockwave and Sue with Butterfly Kisses Healing, and Linda de Gonzalez, and Steve, and Flowing, and Perrette, and Trudy, which everybody called Gertrude up until about 2 weeks ago, and now I have to train myself to say Trudy. And we got Plucky and Flowing, and Cat Mama Meow is here, and Scorpio Mama is here, and Lauren, and let's see, Kathy Ritchie and Amanda Carroll. Son of What is here, and we got Jane the Seeker. Jane, we're saving you for last because we got something special for you. So don't leave early. Because today is Jane's birthday. So everybody in the chat, make sure you tell Jane happy birthday because today is her birthday. And we've got, let's see, T-Barb is here. And Loretta, Mother's Tarot, is here. Thank y'all very much for coming. And I am going to mod a few people here real quick while I get a moment. So if you see yourself turn blue, you'll know that I just threw a wrench at you. And oh, Starfish is here. I didn't even see you. And Marby's here. Hi, Marby. And so we're going to start with Juno talking about Jin Shin Jyutsu.
Very good.
I said it well. Wow, my mouth worked right that time.
It's not an easy word, and I've been saying it for 20 years. But
yeah,
but it's not easy. So you did great.
I mean, my brother has like a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu.
But that's different.
Yeah, it's different, but it's similar. The name is similar, because he did martial arts for years.
Yeah.
And then I do some of the movements from the Qigong, from the Tai Chi.
Yes.
Because it's better for people like me with spinal injuries that can't get up and jump around and do all that crazy stuff. And it's just very slow flowing kind of movements, which are really nice to kind of help you, stretch it out. And I do that before every show. I'll go out on the patio and I'll go through a few movements. It seems to just kind of help me get my head in the right space.
It's very centering. And
Yes, very much so. And now for the other good news is Juno and I are going to be doing this on a regular basis. So every other Sunday, we're going to do it at 4:30. Started on the half hour, so that's 4:30 Central, be 5:30 Eastern, 3:30 Mountain, 2:30 Pacific. We're going to do this every other Sunday. So I'm finally got like a regular show.
Me too.
It took a while to get me here, but so we're gonna have we're gonna kind of build on what we've started with the cards and with this jiu-jitsu, and we're going to expand on that and introduce new things and just kind of play it by ear, I guess, until we get in the groove somewhat. And yes, please go to Juno's channel and like, subscribe, and share. Her information is in the description box below. And we've got several of our moderators that are already putting the links in the channel. If you have a channel, please feel free to put your channel name, your link in the chat. I encourage that because when you're first getting started and trying to get yourself going, it's really difficult when nobody knows who you are and nobody, knows your chat, your chat link, for your show. And hi Jules, hi Lisa. And so do that. Please feel free. If you're not a moderator and you want to put your thing in the chat, let one of the moderators know so it'll be a hot link. That way, if other people click on it to go hop over and subscribe to your channel, they can do so straight from the chat. Then they have to come right back. They can't stay. They can go back to you when we're done. And and let's see. Did I forget anything, Juno? I think I covered everything.
I can't see the chat, so just so people
right.
know,
Okay, that's right.
It's because I can't see it. But.
So I am going to try to concentrate on pinning things on the board underneath, so when people are talking to Juno, she'll know what they're saying. And I keep forgetting you don't see the chat, so we're gonna have to work on that, figure that one out. And take it away, Juno. Okay, I've said my piece. It's your turn now.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming, and thanks, Shari, for having me on. And I'm really excited that we're going to be doing this together on a regular basis. And
me too.
We can play with, we can talk about crystals. We can talk all kinds of different things, different weeks. But I think there's a fair amount of interest in learning about Jin Shin Jyutsu, and I've been studying it for 20 years, and I got introduced to it through. I have a very painful chronic condition and finally got diagnosed, even though I've had it since I was 3. I didn't get diagnosed till I was 40 and went to a pain management doctor for 2 years, and, long bouts of physical therapy, shots in my back, all the medications, you name it. I was the first person they used their thermography machine on, which is when they can they can tell by the colors that show up in their scan where your pain is, which validated what I've been telling them, instead of doctors just going, oh yeah, sure, right, it's all in your head. Well, it's like, no, you could see it.
Yeah.
And so after 2 years, I wasn't making any progress, wasn't breaking that cycle. And so the pain management doctor, who I really liked, she was excellent. This was up in Flagstaff, Arizona, and she said, that I've done everything in my bag of tricks. And here, I'll send you to this other doctor if you want to go. And she does this kind of energy work, and I can't even pronounce it, she said, but some people like it. And it was Jin Shin Jyutsu. And after 2 sessions, it was like somebody was starting to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. I never felt anything. I'm not saying it cured me or whatever, but it helped me to cope with what I dealt with. And I wouldn't be alive literally without it. And
as someone who lives in constant chronic pain, yeah, I get it. I've tried almost everything in the books, and I've had enough medical personnel say there's nothing wrong with you, and it's like, yeah, there is, but
Yeah.
you just can't see it. But once they start doing MRIs and myelograms, they're like, oh, never
Yeah.
mind. You do have a reason to complain.
Yeah.
So, and I'm very lucky. I have a very good pain management doctor
Yeah. It helps a
that
lot.
I've been seeing since 1999. So when I got hurt, so I'm very fortunate that he's still in business. And yeah, the pain is constant. It never goes away. I
Yeah.
don't remember what pain free feels like.
Me
And
neither.
I deal with it the best I can. I have my little tricks and stuff, my medication and whatnot that I take, and that helps make it manageable. And that's the best I can do at this point.
Yeah.
Um,
I
so
understand.
I see Flowing is talking about, yeah, the pain is constant. So there are plenty of us in here that are, Jane, pain warrior, Jane. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's
and
no
it's hard to
fun.
make somebody understand that when they don't comprehend what it is that you never not hurt, that it just doesn't exist anymore. So
Yeah.
um, I'm all for trying anything new. If it's going to help the least little bit, I'm going to try it.
Well, I got mono when I was 3, which was unusual enough. And then I almost died from it. And then, because, back then it was like, get up, move around, you're fine, and pushed me too hard. And then a few years later, I got something called fifth disease, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth disease. And it's actually a form of parvovirus, which is
Oh,
what
wow.
it's not the same one that dogs get, but you're lucky if you get through that. So my system took a lot of hits that way. And it's interesting because I started like in about 99 was when I got diagnosed, and you're saying that's when you had your situation.
Yeah,
So we're
that's
on
when
the
I got
same.
hurt, was in 99.
Yeah.
Hi, Jess. Um, yeah, we had, I mean, when I was in first grade, I got strep throat
Hmm.
and almost died from it. And
Yeah.
I literally spent like 6, 7 weeks home in bed. I couldn't even get out of bed. I can
Yeah.
remember my grandmother or my granddaddy or my mom or whoever was there picking me up and carrying me to the toilet to hold me on the
Oh,
toilet so I could go to the bathroom. That's
yeah.
how weak I was. And so, yeah. And then I've fought throat issues and sore throats the rest of my life. Uh, and it's weird because they never took my tonsils out. I think my brother got like two sore throats in a row one winter, and that he was in the hospital and got his tonsils yanked.
Huh.
And I was like, I live with this stuff. How come they never take my
Yeah.
tonsils out?
Now, what's up with that, huh?
Really? The doctors were like, no, it's better to leave them in. It's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, so I get it.
Well, I was lucky because the doctor that I saw that did Jin Shin Jyutsu on me, she worked in a clinic, so she could code it. So my insurance paid for it. I got sessions almost every 2 weeks for 5 years, and my insurance paid for it. So,
That's fabulous.
and your sessions are cumulative. You benefit as they build upon each other. Even if it was years ago, you still benefit from it.
Yeah.
And if you want to put up that first slide that just shows the name so people can see what we're saying, it's
All right,
the Jin
I can
Shin
do
Jyutsu.
that.
There you
There
go.
we go. Okay.
So, Jitsu, when you say jujitsu, like the martial art, that's JITSU,
Yeah.
which means technique. JYUTSU means art. This is a healing art. It's not a technique, and there
Okay.
is a difference because a technique means you follow a regimented way of doing
Right.
things. And with an art, it's like we learn, for better lack of a better word, protocols of where to put your hands to facilitate a flow. But you're listening to the person's body or your own body, and your hands go where you can kind of sense where they should go. So you're free to move your hands as indicated. And if you want to go to the next slide,
All righty.
thanks.
Here
So
we
this
go.
is kind of interesting. I ran across this, the history of medicine. In 2000 BC, they would say, here, eat this root if you were sick or had an injury or whatever. Then by 1000 AD, they said, that root is heathen. Here, say this prayer. Then the next thing, 1850, they said, that prayer is superstition. Here, drink this potion. And then in the 1940s, they said, well, that potion is snake oil. Here, swallow this pill. And then in 1985, approximately, it was, oh, that pill is ineffective. Here, take this antibiotic. And now in 2000, we're to, that antibiotic doesn't work. Here, eat this root. So
Yeah.
we've made the whole
We've
circle
come
of
full
things.
circle on it. Yeah.
Yep. And of course, when you get into 1940, that's when the pharmacies come in and ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. So that influenced a lot of it.
Oh, big time. And yeah, tell me about. I have a drawer full of pills that I take several times a day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, if I can find something that's doesn't require me to take a pill anymore, I do it. So
Mm-hmm.
as
Well,
long as it doesn't involve eating vegetables, I'm good to
yeah, right.
go.
Oh, well, never mind. We got to go. But a lot of the medications out there were originally formulated from plants, and my grandfather used to dig ginseng. I'm from back in like the Appalachian Mountain area back in Western New York, and that was some of the best ginseng in the whole world. And so he would sell it to, eventually it went to the Chinese because they would buy it from there because it's even better than their ginseng is. Um, and and then he used to collect other herbs and sell them to the pharmacies when they made medications right from that, like a compound pharmacy kind of idea.
Well, and you
So
go
like
back
a
even further, and you had, I mean, that's the local medicine man, or
Yep.
the local shaman or whatever. They were the ones that were out picking the roots and the stuff growing, and whatever they could find, and were making the potions and cooking it up and adding it together and telling people, eat this, drink this.
Hmm.
And so yeah, it's been with us a long time. That's part of where women started being called witches
Well, exactly.
when the Christian church came along. And I'm not knocking the Christian church, don't take me wrong.
I understand.
um, but when they came along, they had a real issue with women having any kind of leadership within the communities, in the towns or whatever that they lived in. And so instead of trusting, mama, whoever down the street who could cook you up something to make you feel better, they convinced people, oh no, that's a witch and she's going to get you. And
Exactly.
so, what do? They went and killed mama, whoever, and then nobody got any help. So,
Hang on,
yeah,
I'm gonna keep talking, Sherry. My dog's barking.
that's okay. I'm waiting for mine to start if you heard yours. Yeah, a lot of people that live up in the mountains, they it's not just weed that people go steal off of mountainsides or out of people's gardens. It's a lot of the other herbs and stuff that are used for other things. I mean,
Well, ginseng is
I'm
like gold. Ginseng is very valuable, and you don't plant ginseng and harvest it the next year. It takes years for it to
years
develop
for
and to become
exactly.
potent. And somebody can come along and dig it up, and then you know you're gone. You're out of money. It's gone. So
It really does my heart good to see that the country as a whole is opening up to the fact that marijuana and the THC in it,
mhm.
and the hemp oil in it, and all that
CBD.
it has a lot of medicinal purposes. I mean, it was originally used, same as with peyote bud and whatnot. It was originally used as a means of, healing people, or you know, numbing pain for people that got injured. Uh, some of the stuff, some of the more psychedelic drugs were used by a lot of, native shamans and medicine men as a way to connect to spirit, because you could it allowed them to kind of leave their corporal body and go, and be with spirit and converse that
Mhm.
way. And of course now you've got a dispensary on every corner just about.
Yeah.
And I'm just waiting for the country as a whole to say, you know what, it just needs to be legal and be done with it.
Well, I
And
don't understand how alcohol is legal and that isn't, because alcohol is so much more destructive.
absolutely, yeah.
And I even think I've read where they have found proof of or evidence of marijuana back in Egyptian tombs and stuff. I mean, it goes
Oh
way
yeah.
back. It's not a recent thing. So,
Oh no, it goes back to the beginning of man. I mean, it's even mentioned in the Bible, in the Old
right,
Testament,
right,
where and I don't remember what book or whatever, but it talks about God gave man um, every seed bearing fruit, every fruit bearing seed is to be for our benefit.
right.
Well, marijuana comes from seeds. Their seeds grow, sprout more seeds.
Yeah,
Kind of, it's all in this circular system. So,
yeah,
um, I mean, if you're gonna go smoke a joint and get high, that's up to you, man. More is the merrier, but don't get behind the wheel of the car and drive,
right.
or
Yeah.
don't go to work and operate heavy machinery.
But you
But
can
then
say that about a lot of prescription drugs too, So
exactly, you can say
it,
that about a lot of prescription drugs. Drugs. You could certainly say it about alcohol.
yeah,
Um, so, I mean, it's like if you're going to allow alcohol to be legal, then I never understood why they couldn't.
it's a money thing. It's a
Yeah,
tax thing.
yeah,
But
exactly.
but this is
And
not related to that. I mean, you know,
yeah,
just so
squirrel, I went off.
people are clear. It's okay. I just want to make sure people understand that they're not related, but there's they're what I mean.
It's kind of in
Same vein. Yeah.
the same vein, yeah. That it's an alternative way of dealing with pain and other injuries or other issues that you may have.
Well,
Um,
and Jin Shin Jyutsu helps spiritual, emotional, physical, mental, all those things.
right,
So it's a way of harmonizing your body. That's what it's all about. It's like a jumper cabling is what Mary would call it. It was brought to the U.S. From Japan by an American-born Japanese woman named Mary Burmeister. She married an American, so that's why her last name was Burmeister. But she was actually full-blood Japanese. But she grew up around the time of World War II when they were putting her relatives in internment camps. So her father sent her to Japan and she went there to teach English. She was from either Washington or Oregon. I think she was from around Seattle, if I'm not mistaken. And she was like the genius of the class, and she would have been valedictorian, but they wouldn't let her be because she was Japanese.
right.
So she went, and then
And a
she got,
woman,
yeah, yeah, and she got connected with Jiro Murai, who's the man who brought the from ancient knowledge. This goes back thousands of years, and he brought it back, into the present. And then Mary studied under him for many, many, many years, and then she brought it to the U.S. and she settled in Arizona, in Scottsdale, and then started teaching. And my mentor, I learned about this when I lived up north when I was in Sedona, and would go to my doctor was in Flagstaff, so I would drive up and down Oak Creek Canyon. Oh, gee, that was rough. So beautiful.
yeah.
But and then
My
when I
only
moved,
problem is I could never make those trips because I have vertigo really bad.
oh yeah, yeah,
And it's like the minute I got on one of those mountain roads,
yeah. Well, there's
somebody else
another way
better
you can
drive
go.
so I can lay down in the back seat and not look out. I mean,
Yeah. There's another way you can go. You can go up the interstate. It takes longer, but you can still
yeah,
get there from there. So then I ended up moving down to southern Arizona, and I took a class from someone named Sarah Harper, and she's my same age, and she had been studying under Mary for decades before. I think even in the 1960s, or maybe in the 70s when she started to maybe in the 70s when she started to go for sessions with Mary. And Sarah was like, it was okay, but I didn't have this big mind blowing experience or whatever. Well, then Sarah kind of rebelled, and her family was very holistic, and Birkenstocks, you know what I mean? Very down to earth kind of people, and movers and shakers, really, really inspiring people, the way they live their life. But Sarah
Keep
revolted
talking,
kind of.
Juno. I'll be right back.
Okay. So Sarah kind of went her own way, and she went to college and got a degree in public relations. And by 21, she was very successful. She owned her own home and she owned her own white Porsche. And she used to go and see a doctor that was here in Tucson called Dr. Fulford, and he's involved with the beginning of the cranial sacral therapy movement. I don't know if anybody out there is familiar with that, but it's another healing method. And a lot of doctors and chiropractors actually do cranial sacral therapy. And she pulled up in her white Porsche one day to Dr. Fulford's office, and he looked out the window and says, "Is that your car out there in the parking lot?" And she said, "Yes, it is." She was real proud of herself. And he said, "Well, you need to get rid of that car." And she, kind of sassy said, "I will not. I worked hard for that car. I'm proud of that car. I have fun driving that car." Well, she was sitting at a red light in Tucson, and a drunk driver ran the red light and hit her head on, going 60 miles an hour.
Oh my goodness.
And she had an internal decapitation, which is her skull was separated from her spine. And there's a lot more to that story, that's interesting. But I'll cut that out and go to the cut to the chase. Her eye was really swollen. Her head was swollen out in one direction, and she basically died on the side of the road. And they brought her back, but they took her to the hospital, and they were going to have a doctor come in from out of town, a couple hours away, to drill into her skull and let the pressure off. And she told her mother, "No way, you get me out of this hospital. They're not doing that to me." Of course, you couldn't do this now, but back in the early 80s, you could.
Yeah.
And they took her home, and they did nothing but Jin Shin Jyutsu and Chinese herbs, and she fully recovered. I mean, she had to learn to walk and talk again. It didn't happen overnight, but she didn't go the medical route. So she wouldn't be here without Jin Shin Jyutsu. And she's got racehorse energy, that woman. I mean, she travels the world on her own and teaches Jin Shin Jyutsu from Saudi Arabia to Singapore to New Zealand to Australia to all over the United States and Canada. So she's just a walking, talking inspiration. And after my first class with her, we just clicked and became really good friends. And I've helped her facilitate when she teaches class here in Tucson. I've helped her, facilitate the classes and help people that are learning. And so, she studied at Mary's knee right from the source. And I've been the benefit of her generosity of teaching me and working on me for many, many, many years. And I'm just really thankful for that.
Yeah, Jane says in the chat, she says, "My entire neck is fused." I hear you, Jane. C4 through C7 is fused in me. They actually took C5 out.
Oh, boy.
They took that whole disc out, and they crunched it down, and they put it, what they call a spacer. And I have a steel rod and screws in my neck that hold my head up.
Wow.
And I have permanent nerve damage in my shoulders and my neck and my upper back. So that's part of why they did the neck surgery, because I got to where I couldn't pick up something and hold it. My hands would not function. Now I sit in front of a computer and I type all day at my job. And I was having trouble hunting and pecking with one finger on each hand was getting difficult to do. And this is from somebody who was used to typing 90 to 100 words a minute. Just you get going. And so, it's really, people don't realize the damage to the rest of your body that spinal injury will do.
Oh, exactly. Everything.
And now I have degenerative disc disease. The discs in the discs in my back are literally like just going away. And there are some spots in my back where there's no disc left. It's just kind of bone sitting on bone. So I have to be careful how I move. And now I'm reduced. I have to use a cane everywhere I go. I mean, I don't There are a lot of times I can walk across a room without the cane, but if I'm at home, that's one thing. If I'm in my office, is one thing. But if I have to go to the bathroom or any further,
Right.
the cane comes with me because if I step wrong and that I hit it just right where it makes that those
Yep.
bones hit together,
Yeah.
that's it. I'm on the ground.
I
And
understand. Yeah. I'm
so
sorry that you're dealing with it. I understand. It's
yeah,
not
I mean,
fun.
it just I'm here. I'm watching Jane talk about it, and it's like, yeah, I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
I had, and they've talked about doing surgery on my back, and I've managed to hold them off. That's so
Yeah.
far, and
Yeah.
because I keep waiting. It's like, okay, either I'm going to discover a way that I'm going to be able to do it on my own, and I'm going to be able to heal it myself, which it hasn't really worked all the way for me yet, but it has helped in some respects.
Hmm.
Hi, Teresa, and I said either that or get to the point where it's just a matter of going in with a red laser gun and going zip, 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 and you're done.
Yeah. Yeah.
No big deal. So we'll see what happens, But this is something that, I plan on learning to do so that I can start trying to do it myself.
Well,
And
that's the beauty of it is there's so much self-help that you can do. You don't, it's wonderful to get a session with a practitioner. And if people want to look for a practitioner in their area, they can go to jsjinc.net, and there's a menu on there where you can search for a practitioner in your area. Now,
okay, give me that address again. JSJINC
INC, like incorporated, .net.
.org
.net.
.net.
And
Okay.
not every practitioner is listed on there. That's one place to look for a practitioner, but you can also look, Google it in your area and just put in Jin Shin Jyutsu practitioner in whatever city you're in and see what you can find, because
Hi,
there's a
Kiva.
lot of them. There's a lot of them out there. There's a whole wing of a hospital in Morristown, New Jersey, devoted to Jin Shin Jyutsu, because they found out how much it helps people who are going through treatments or surgeries or whatever. And
Yeah.
it does not interfere with medications. It does not interfere with surgeries or anything like that. It's like how Reiki helps,
Right.
And
Right.
so,
And I've
like,
had Reiki with other issues when I've had my knee act up or, my shoulder act up or something. And I've had, Reiki healers, do on me. And it's pretty much, I can feel it pretty
mhm,
quickly, and it's like, okay, yeah. Sue did a healing on me. What was it, Sue? I think it was one of my knees had gone out or something, and I was having trouble. And she messaged me and said, "Can I do a healing for you?" And I said, "Yeah, go for it." And I literally felt it as she was
yeah.
doing her thing, 1,000 miles away, and I could feel it. Um, so
Yeah, it's and this can also be done and sent remotely.
right.
It's the
Are you
same
ready
kind
for
of
me
thing.
to go to the next?
Well, stay here for just a second.
Okay,
Or we can go to the next one, but either way.
okay,
But I wanted to finish the story about Sarah with the way her head was swollen out. It was like her eye was bugged out, and she really looked kind of grotesque. And Mary came and worked on her. Mary is the woman, like, she's the mother of Jin Shin Jyutsu, the founder of it.
right,
And so one of the ways that energy flows in the body, there's more than one, but one way is in a figure-8 pattern. So as above, so below. So it crosses over. So if it was say your right eye, you would go to your left ankle, right? Go to the farthest point to treat. Like if you have a headache, go to the feet. Because if you treat somebody right at the head, you can actually make their headache worse. So I've had a situation, I used to have a lot of migraines, and I still get them occasionally, but not like I used to. But I went to my friend who's a Reiki master. I'm also a Reiki master, but I'm more, Jin Shin Jyutsu is my bag, like I just live it all the time. I love it. So she found, like, by going through my toes, feeling in between the toes and everything, and she got to one toe, it got in between there, man, it was like an alligator snapped on that toe. And that's where my migraine was. So by holding that with a little bit of pressure long enough, that relieved my migraine within maybe half an hour, which was pretty amazing. When you're so sick that your head's in the toilet, if somebody can hold your toe and you're not throwing up anymore, that's a good thing, you know?
Yeah.
So Mary came and worked on Sarah, and because it was, I can't remember if it was left or right head, doesn't matter, but let's say it's her right head, her right eye was so swollen, Mary went to her opposite ankle, which was not injured in the accident. So she held that outside of that ankle bone with a little bit of pressure. And Sarah said, she goes, I saw God. It was so painful. But what it did, they watched and it sucked all that fluid and swelling out of her head like a vacuum. It was just like miraculous what it did. So jump forward to about 10 years ago. Sarah is, I think, in Denver. She's teaching, and it's her second day of class because she teaches a 5-day class. So everybody had met her, and most people that take Jin Shin Jyutsu, they've either seen her picture or they know her. She's familiar. She's just a beautiful blonde, wonderful woman. And she got up the second day of class, and all of a sudden, after all those years, that swelling was back in her head. And her eye was bugging out and everything. And she didn't feel good, obviously. And she's like, what do I do? I don't know what to do. And she said, well, I got to go to class. So she went to class and walked in, and they're all freaking out like, oh my God, because they'd seen her before. They knew what she really looked like. And it was obvious she was not in a good way. And she said, don't worry, don't worry. So she laid on the massage table and she told them where to hold on her. And they held that ankle, and this room of like 30 or 40 people watched her face go back to normal.
Yeah.
And, everybody's jaws on the floor. And then they go, oh, do it again. Yeah. It's like, no, thank you. I don't want to do that again.
No, we're not going to do that again.
But I mean, so in other words, I'm not saying that every time you work with this, it's going to be that dramatic or that miraculous, but it can be, so the possibility is there. So
it's like here in down in Louisiana, in the Cajun culture, we have what they call a traiteur, which is very similar to a medicine man.
Okay.
I mean, when my son was in first grade, second grade, I don't remember which, all of a sudden he got sick one afternoon. His ear was all red and inflamed. He was running a fever. This was a kid that never got sick. And in the middle of trying to rush around to go take him to the emergency room, our neighbor from next door came over wanting to borrow an egg or something, and saw him and asked if she could pray over him. And we were like, yeah, sure, go for it, whatever. And she literally laid hands on him and sat with him. And I don't know what language she was talking. It wasn't any language I'd ever heard before. But she sat there for about 5 minutes, rubbing certain parts of his face and head, and his ear. And then after about 5 minutes, she got up and she said, okay, thank you. And she took her egg and she left. And before I could turn around to finish packing up to go to the ER, he was up and fine. No fever, no earache, no nothing, bouncing off the walls. His daddy and I were looking at each other going, did we just witness what I think we just witnessed? I mean, It's very shocking when you see a healer actually heal someone physically in front of your eyes. I mean,
right.
And that's why I think for so many people, they don't believe it until they actually see it, because it's very shocking to the system and to the mind to literally watch somebody be able to accomplish that. And later down the road to find out you probably could have done the same yourself if you knew how.
Right. So, exactly. And, it's just like, I think that's a lot of what Jesus's message was, you can do this too. He wasn't the only one who could lay hands on somebody. What do they say in the Bible? Somebody gets sick, the first thing you do is you lay hands on them. And this is just telling you specifically where to put your hands to optimize that energy. This is how I, me personally, I feel like Reiki is like the umbrella, and Reiki energy is always flowing out of my hands. And when I do Jin Shin Jyutsu, it's flowing even more. But when you have these, if you look at this diagram, there's 26 safety energy locks on the front of the body and 26 on the back of the body. So that's 52. So a safety energy lock acts in your body like a circuit breaker in your house. So a circuit breaker in your house protects your house from an overload so that you don't have a fire or damage or whatever, right? It protects your appliances, protects all that stuff. So if you get injured or you get sick or you have a stress issue or whatever, these safety energy locks will quote unquote shut down, and then they're painful. So Mary would say muscles don't hurt and bones don't hurt, tension hurts. So when I went and finally got diagnosed with fibromyalgia and I looked at the chart for all the fibromyalgia tender points, they're almost exactly these safety energy lock points. So
Yeah.
that was like, I just burst into tears when I realized that right in the middle of class, like, oh my God, in other words, it's like validation that no, I'm not crazy. This is real. I do hurt here. There's a reason
Yeah.
why.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense sometimes why certain parts of your body hurt when that's not the injured part.
Exactly.
Jane's like, sign me up. And Shockwave is like, Sioux Indians have a lot of knowledge on this kind of medicine. Yeah, so
Definitely.
do
Yeah.
the Cherokee and a lot of others, the Hopi as well. Um, Most of your native tribes are very, very well versed in, especially if they've continued the 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 teachings and the learnings of their tribe
Right.
and what they believe. It's when you get away from that that you start running into people who no longer have that ability to do this kind of stuff. And that's where having someone like Juno around comes in handy, because she can teach us how to do this to help ourselves and to help others, and at least enough to help us until we can get to a professional that can do it. So, and like she said, we're not doctors here, so um,
Yeah, this is not in place of
this
any
is
medical treatment. This is not, we don't diagnose. It's not any of that. It's
exactly.
just how you can harmonize your own system to help yourself. And Mary studied under Jiro, I think, for 15 years and only worked on herself before she ever even laid hands on another person. Now, I'm not saying that that's what you have to do, but that's her, where this came from, is somebody who knew her body that well. And I mean, and I'm also certified to work on animals. I studied for 3 years, and Adele she's from New Orleans, and she has a place in Destin, Florida. So she works back and forth, and she teaches down in that area. So, I can get you connected with her, and anybody's in that area down there. If you're interested in learning about how to do this to help animals, she is the bomb.
Oh
She's
yeah,
just
and that's something else a lot of people don't realize is a lot of what we do and discuss within our community works just as efficiently on animals as it does on people. And because we have to be able to really kind of plug into our pets to know what's going on, because they can't tell us what hurts. You know.
See, here's in Adele's book. If you want to pop that up, this
Yep.
shows the safety energy locks on a dog. No,
Uh,
and I think you can get this book on Amazon. There you
let
go.
me blow you up here. Hang on. There we go. All right.
So if you guys can see that, there's the safety energy locks on a dog. Okay. So she has taken the time, and Adele has just worked magic to figure all this out, because animals stand differently than we do. On
Mhm.
4 legs, and then how we have we carry our stress on our shoulders. Well, if you look at the way dogs and horses and 4-legged animals stand, they don't have shoulders, so their stress just flows right off of them. They're not holding their neck that way. And here's the safety energy locks on a horse.
Yeah.
So just to show, give you guys an idea. We're not going to go into that today, but that's something that we can talk about down the road, just to give you an idea. But so if you want to go to that next slide, I thought I'd give you guys some self-help that you can start with, but with just in your own hands. And there we go. So
There we go.
In Jin Shin Jyutsu, we have what are called the 5 attitudes. And Mary would say that, all of our issues and diseases and everything is the result of these attitudes we have. And when we're in an attitude, we're not in harmony. Okay. So if you tend to be a person who worries, and gee, nobody these days worries about anything. I know, right? Everybody's so chilled out and peaceful all the time, right? So if you have an issue with worry, you can hold your thumbs. So you can hold it like I am, just grasp it. You can either hold on tight or you can do gently, whatever works for you. But if you really have a real issue with worry at the moment, you can get in here and you can detail and put pressure in between, work on those joints, work all the way up that finger and go like micro movements. And if you find a place that's tender, that's where the pain, that's where the energy is stuck. Okay. So you want to hold there with this. Don't hurt yourself. There's no reason to cry over this. And you can do it just gently or not even touch. But if you want to get in there and break it up quicker, if you put a little pressure on there, you can harmonize that much quicker that way. So you can start with your thumb, and we'll just do one hand at a time, and then you do the other hand. So people say, okay, well, how long do I do each finger for? 5 inhales and exhales minimum per finger. 10 minutes per finger is really great, but maybe you don't have time to do that. So if you can even just do that, start with that, this is good.
And it makes you wonder, I mean, people, a natural reaction that a lot of people have when confronted with any of these types of stressors on them, what do? They wring their hands.
Yeah.
And I think it's just part of our DNA that's trying to get us to rub the right part to make it better. I know when I get nervous, I tend to sit and I'll rub, I'll do this with my hands. So, yeah, that's really interesting.
What do babies do? Babies suck their thumb. Babies are so wise, they know how to harmonize. The thumb is the leader of the parade. It's the one that's going to get everything going the fastest. Everything else is great to do, but if you can't remember anything and you don't know what to do, go to the thumb. That's the prime mover. That's really going to help everything. And Sarah told of a time that she went to like a nursing home and was teaching this simple stuff to some of the people there. And there was this little lady, probably 90 years old, sitting in a wheelchair, and Sarah's showing her, talking about hold the thumb. And all of a sudden, this nice little old lady just bursts into tears. And Sarah, gets down on her knees in front of her because she just feels terrible. She made this lady cry. And she says, "Oh my God, what's the matter? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you cry." And she said, "I've been holding my thumbs for my whole life, and my family just made fun of me all the time, and I still hold my thumbs." And so Sarah's like, it's okay, you did the right thing. And the lady goes, "And you know what? They're all dead."
That's great.
So she knew she was doing what her instincts told her. She knew what to do,
Jess just said that she screenshotted this. What I'm going to do is after the show, because I put this into a PowerPoint slide presentation, I'm going to post it in the description box, in the comments after the show is over. That way, if y'all, don't have the ability to screenshot or don't know how,
right, draw your own hand like we used to do the turkey in kindergarten, and just write it in yourself. Even I'll be talking long enough that you can do that.
Hand and draw around it.
Yeah.
That'll work.
We do that when I take classes. We do that every class, because every time you do that, you're ingraining that in your memory when you draw it for yourself. And there's a lot more that goes with this. But I want to just start with the attitudes today to not overwhelm people. But it talks about the organs and all kinds of numbers. It's related to astrology.
Yeah, we'll build on this as time progresses. We'll take like the next step, so that everybody can kind of learn along with me as I'm learning this. Y'all are going to be learning this. And, and hopefully we can then be able to spread it out and help others deal with it as well.
Teach your kids. That's the biggest thing I'd like to get. Teach your children how to do this and how to help themselves. It's just
Exactly.
amazing. So the
Exactly.
next one is to go to your index finger. If you're in fear, hold that index finger and you can do the same thing. And this is actually why I got these gloves, is to show the bones and the fingers, that you have these three different sections of your finger, detail it, work that finger, find out where that tension is. So you
Yeah.
can either hold it gently or hold it, squeeze it tight. When I had to have a lot of dental work done, I went in and it got me through. I held my thumb and my index fingers together. And that really helped me with all that stress and anxiety. That's my worst nightmare, is going to the dentist. And I'm not saying I didn't have anesthesia and whatever when I needed it, but there's some stuff that they don't do that for, like even teeth cleanings and things. This got me through it. I had a bony growth at the top of my mouth that they had to grind down while I was still awake. I was sedated, but I was still awake. And I'll tell you what, I was grabbing onto my thumb and index finger for dear life. And
Now,
it helped.
Lisa just put in that she has a bone spur at the base of her thumb that constantly hurts.
Okay. So hold that and give it lots of love. And you can hold this way. Try different ways and see what feels good for you. There's a lot of ways you can hold your thumb. Okay. So experiment with it. And if you have a place like that on your body that's really painful, just hold it and send it lots of loving energy. You'd be surprised. There's been people like it straightened their fingers from arthritis. I mean, all kinds of things that you can do. You can get in there and hold it this way.
And
You can hold, whatever works, whatever, and do it so it's comfortable and it's not about hurting yourself. Okay. Just keep that in mind. Now, if
and
you're,
and and something I can throw in there that's not part of this, but it kind of works along the same premise. For those of us who've had spinal injuries, most of us know what this is, a TENS unit.
yep,
It's a little electrode pad you can put, and you can set up the
impulses like,
impulse on it, whatever kind of impulse you want, and how strong or weak, and it will just shoot that little electric, that zzz into that area. It
mhm,
not only stimulates bone growth. Say if you broke a bone, that's what, when I had to have surgery on my foot, that's what my podiatrist gave me, was one of those units to put on and around my foot so that the bone would grow back
exactly.
faster. And but I use it for migraines. I use it for when my back acts up. I
Yeah,
use it for all kinds of stuff because it works
it
wonders.
does. It
And
does.
especially if it's in an area that you're hurting that you can't
You can't
reach
reach.
yourself, and
Mhm,
there's no one around to rub or massage that area for you.
right.
So I mean, and you can buy them online on Amazon for just a couple of bucks. It's
Mhm,
you can spend a fortune or you can spend $20. I mean, they have all different varieties. So,
right.
and yeah. But, and I know that's not part of what she's talking about, but for some people, that could give it that little bit of a jump start,
No
say,
pun intended.
no pun intended, exactly. Give you a little zap there and see if
Yep.
that'll get it going. And then the next
Put a little,
time
put a little
you
zing in
start
your
rubbing
step.
that area, perhaps your body will remember
Right.
that zap, and so will automatically go and follow through on that memory.
If you're standing in line at the grocery store, if you're passenger in a car, you're sitting at a red light, whatever, you can start holding your fingers. There's a lot of times, you know, there's no excuses when you say, "Oh, I don't have time to do that." And if
Yeah,
all you have time for, let's say you're in a restaurant and you're whatever, something happened at dinner and you're in kind of a panic, or you're upset about something, go to the restroom, and even if you can just go hold this one, hold this, like hold each finger briefly, you're going to help yourself if that's all you've got time to do. Or do it under the table or whatever. That's another thing. It can be very discreet. So Mary would say when she got to the anger finger, the middle finger, she would say, "That's the only one you Americans got right." So if you're angry for any reason, the best way to
shoot the
harmonize it
bird.
is to hold that middle finger. And you can even do this. Say you're in a room full of people and they're all angry and whatever. If you hold your middle finger, you can help harmonize the energy for the whole room. So, and like I said, you can send this remotely, just like you can do with Reiki or any other healing modality. So, if you sense there's anger brewing somewhere where you're at and you're not comfortable with it, hold that middle finger and send that energy out. And again, you can do it where you put your thumb down in the palm of your hand and hold your middle finger that way. Just experiment with it and see what works for you. Okay.
That's it.
And I'm going to let you talk for a second, Shari, because my dogs are going to bark here because the truck's coming.
Okay. So, I mean, lots of different ideas to get going here. And I know we're almost at the hour. Wow. I mean, it goes by so fast. So, we're going to wrap this up on the hand. We got 2 fingers left to go. And then we're going to do some birthday readings. And I know Jane has patiently been waiting her turn because
Okay.
we got something planned for her. So,
okay. Well, we'll just, people can see on the chart. The next one is the ring finger with sadness and grief. And that's
that
what,
funny? That's when you put the wedding ring.
Exactly. Exactly. And this is also good for addictions. And addictions are not just to drugs. You can be addicted to emotions.
Oh, yeah.
So that's another way to help yourself is to hold the ring fingers. And the next one is the pinky finger for pretense or trying to, which is trying to be happy when you're sad, trying to be anything, anytime you're not being authentic, you can hold that pinky finger.
Yeah.
Or if you feel somebody's not being authentic with you, hold your pinky finger and see if it shifts their attitude. It's kind of a fun thing to play with it.
Cash Peters has been talking about something similar to this with the stress
muscle
thing.
testing. Yeah, that's a different thing. Yeah.
It's a different, but it's still
with the hands.
It's all with your hands.
So there are 144,000 functions in the human body, and each finger harmonizes 14,400 functions. So the next time you don't think you got power in your hands, think again, because you can do so much just by holding each finger. And then when you get to the palm, that's all inclusive of all the attitudes. So and also it helps to increase your intuition for all you folks out there who are card readers or psychics or whatever and want to know how to increase your intuition. Put your palms together in prayer position. This increases your intuition. So if you're preparing to do a reading or whatever you're going to do, or you're working on yourself, even for healing, put your palms together. I would say for at least 5 inhales and exhales. Okay. So that's just one tip. And I showed Shari before we started. Another thing is to place your fingertips at the third eye, just like she's got them. You put all your fingers, you put all your fingertips together, okay? Because you're jumper cabling, and the more fingers that you touch to your body, the more, like electrical connection. There you go. Yeah. And this is Safety Energy Lock 20, which is seeing as the creator sees. So this can help increase your intuition. I see all the time in chats, a lot of questions. How can I increase my intuition? How can I increase my intuition? Well, this is we've got 2 perfect ways here. Put the palms together and you can either do one hand, if you want, or you can do both hands at the third eye. So anyway, I think that's probably enough for everybody on the Jin Shin Jyutsu today. I don't want to burn you guys out. There's so much more to share, but.
All righty. Well, if you would like your destiny reading, all we need is your birth month and your birthday. You don't have to give us the year. And Juno can do a quick read. We've already got our first person out the gate. Okay. Lisa Niedermeyer is March 25th.
Oh, happy birthday coming up here.
Yeah, she's almost a birthday girl. She's getting close.
So she is the Jack of Clubs. Mental inspiration, successful ideas through revelation, curious, independent, creative mind. And the challenge is cultivating mental balance. Can you guys read that? There we go.
Wow.
Focus.
Okay, give me a second here. I'm starring and the chat keeps jumping.
You're fine. Don't worry. No worries.
Okay, I think I'm caught up.
So this is somebody, clubs are about mental, their focus is more mental, whereas people with hearts, they're more emotional, right? People who have a diamonds card, they're more about money, finance, things of the earth, whatever. So this is, and jacks are usually more of a young person, just like how a page would be in the tarot deck is more of the young person rather than the king or the queen. So Lisa might be somebody who thinks more youthfully than someone else might. So
Here we go. And then I'm pulling an oracle for y'all with that. So, Lisa, I pulled for you. Let's switch out here. Close encounters.
nice.
And I don't know what that means yet because I just got this deck and I'm just now learning it. So let me find the little book and I can. It's wrong number. It's letting you know that vulnerability should be seen as a strength. Um, letting others see your wounds as well as your strengths is a plus. And it's important to set healthy boundaries. So
Very
that's
good.
what this one means. So
Beautiful butterfly on that card.
I know. I was just looking at that. It was like there's actually a couple of them. Like that's kind of cool.
Very nice.
All right, let's see here. Next up is Scorpio Mama, November 6th.
Okay. For you, we have the Ace of Diamonds. Ooh la la. New value system, new financial endeavors, power, prestige. Your challenge is being controlling, greedy, and reviewing, and you need to review your value system. So, aces are always good. Aces are always about the beginning of things, and maybe you're off to a new start with your finances and your situation. So, um, huh. Probably somebody who is fairly confident, I would say.
Here we go. All
Okay.
right, and I pulled for you Beautiful Uncaging. And basically, this is talking about the prison of guilt, a need for self inventory, to be rigorously honest, especially with yourself, accountability, making amends. It's all about being called to assess yourself where your guilt lies. And so that one is for you today. That's another really pretty card. I really like that.
I love it. Big heart. And with the Ace of Diamonds, that's somebody who's good at beginning new financial projects,
Exactly. Okay, next up we got Son of What? September 25th.
Ooh, get into the hearts. September 25th, we got the Queen of Hearts, the Queen of Love, the Mother card, Goddess, nurturing, marriage, and your challenge is being an escapist and being self-indulgent. So that's just if it's out of balance. But, what a lovely card. And of course, these things don't necessarily, whether it's male or female, we both carry all the traits. It's just whatever tends to surface more. So somebody who's really a kind person who's a good listener. This might be somebody who makes a good therapist or a teacher, that really wants to work with people. Anybody who really likes to work with people, I would say, would be a good choice for the Queen of Hearts. Oops.
Absolutely. All right, and I pulled for you. It says bearing fruit. And basically it's saying if your life were a tree, what fruit would you bear? And so you have to envision the results of the efforts you put into achieving your dreams and desires in a partnership with the divine in order for it to move forward. You have to see it. You have to envision it. just like rubbing different parts of your body to make another part not hurt anymore. You have to see it, you have to believe it in order to get it going.
That made me wonder what trees have heart-shaped leaves because he's the queen of hearts. He might find a resonance with that
Oh,
kind of
there
a
you
tree.
go. There you go. And this, yeah,
I have a whole book on leaves that I'll have to get out one of these
you'll
days,
have to
but
get out and we'll have to figure that one out. All right,
yeah.
let's see here. We've got next up is M.
Oh,
Steve,
Steve.
February 10th.
Okay. February 10th. Ooh. We have the Two of Spades, partnership, cooperation with humanity, someone who is strong willed, and your challenge is being indecisive and uncooperative. So, spades are about spiritual, and twos are about partnerships. So, this is somebody who, is good if you're looking for that kind of a relationship that's, getting connected with spirit, like somebody who can guide you towards that connection, to work in partnership with them. It doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic partnership. There's all different kinds of partnerships, and I know right now he's really closely helping out his mom. And so I think that speaks to their relationship as well. So
Yeah,
he's quite the
I,
nurturer.
I get you there. We took care of my mom for the last 10 years of
Yeah.
her life. She had severe dementia. So,
Oh, sorry to
and
hear that.
that can be a handful.
Yeah.
Um, okay, and then I pulled for you, Let It Go. And no, I'm not going to sing the song. You do not want that. You would run screaming from the room. Basically, it's talking about forgiveness. Let it go. Forgive. We all make mistakes. Sometimes the biggest person you need to forgive is yourself.
Yeah, and sometimes it's about letting go of whatever emotions might be built up in us too, just to allow yourself to go, okay, I'm feeling really angry, or what I'm feeling, whatever those things are, and just allow that, and then hold that finger and help harmonize that, and then that will help you release whatever that is.
Absolutely. All right. Next up is Marby, October 9th.
Who do we have? Overnight. Another clubs card. King of clubs. King of Clubs, master of the mind, master communicator, intuitive, living your truth, mental success, and your challenge is being controlling. So, here's somebody who, like, I would think somebody like Einstein or somebody would be, I'm not sure what his birth date is and know that this is his card, but I'm just using it as an example that, scientists or writers, academic people.
Yeah,
And clubs are about communicating. So somebody who can have a lot of knowledge and they're able to communicate it to others. And also, you've got a lot of intuitive ability there. So work on that, bring that out, hold those palms together and maximize that intuition.
there you go. And I pulled for you. This came up again, bearing fruit.
There you go.
So think about what kind of fruit that you want to bear. What is it you want to put out into the world?
And being a club, that makes me think of shamrocks. And we've got St. Patrick's Day
St.
coming up.
Patrick's Day is coming up on Friday. So,
And shamrocks are
yeah,
lucky. So that's an excellent card.
I'm
They're
going to
all
have to go
excellent cards.
I'm gonna have to go find me some St. Patty Day stuff to wear.
I got my corned beef and cabbage and carrots and potatoes all ready to cook. So,
Oh yeah. Everything with everything's
well, I'm not
okay with
inviting
the
you anyway.
cabbage. I can't do cabbage. The smell of
Oh,
it cooking makes me physically ill. Just
oh yeah,
I
yeah.
can't do cabbage. Okay, next we got
Okay.
flowing, November 8th.
So, got the clubs card. And what's interesting is different cards. They come up with different in different intervals. Like let me read them here. I've got them written down. The King of Spades, the Queen of Spades, the Ace of Hearts, and the Two of Hearts all come up only once in the whole year. But some of the other cards come up like as many as 12 times in the whole year. So
Wow.
there's a lot of difference. So for flowing, her card is the Queen of Clubs, intuitive knowledge, knowledge from source, listen to your inner voice, being receptive. And your challenge is that you disregard your own feelings. So here's another person with, the clubs, the mental part. And I would say that this card is more intuitive than the King of Clubs is. And you look at how she's facing, like she's looking right at that club. Some of the cards, depending on what they are, they might be facing away from that, symbol of what the suit is. So she's really focused on it with her intuition. So, trust your gut feelings. Don't disregard them. You got it, girl.
There you go. Okay, and I pulled for you exposed and revealed, which it's talking about shame. How that when you feel or experience shame, you not only feel that you've done something wrong, but you feel like you are wrong. And the universe wants you to know, no, you're special, you're magic. We all do things we're not proud of, but that doesn't make you any less in the eyes of spirit. And so we have to learn to kind of go back on one of the other cards, just kind of let that go and realize that we're all human. And there are some really ugly people in this world who will use this wonderful thing that we call the internet to get up here and do things to hurt people. And that's just not, don't buy into it. Don't buy into it.
Well, I also see with that big eye there makes me think of the third eye with her intuition. If you put those two cards together, like, use your intuition to weed out when somebody might not be being authentic with you.
That's it. And okay, let's see. Next up is Amanda Carroll, December 10th.
Sagittarian, 8 of Clubs. Let's see here. I appreciate everybody playing along with us today. This is fun.
Yes,
the 8 of Clubs. So. 8 of Clubs is mental strength, focused mind, dependable. You can be stubborn, manipulative, or fixed. And your challenge is being flexible. So there's certain cards in the deck that are called fixed, just kind of like not the same as, but similar to how certain astrology signs are more fixed, which means, like mutable means you're more flexible, more easygoing. But if you're fixed, you tend to think this my way or the highway, or this is how we're going to do something. So, and also the 8 is the infinity symbol. And if you lay it on its side, it's called the lemniscate. So this is really good. Keep it flowing. Don't get stuck in your own thoughts, whether they're about somebody else or your own mental, like hamster wheel, analysis paralysis. Just keep it moving, keep it flowing, and hold those fingers, and that'll help you keep it moving out, gets rid of what you don't need anymore. It's a good card, good strong card.
And I pulled Close Encounters again with the beautiful butterflies on it. Basically, it's saying that to accept, to be vulnerable and authentic. Let go of your masks, and just be you. Be the authentic you. And
nice.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we got Shockwave, April 14th. Ooh, one day away from tax day.
How appropriate that we have the diamonds suit with the 7 of
diamonds.
Wow. What are you, psychic or something, Shari?
I'm telling you. I heard a rumor somewhere.
That's right. This is victory through faith, attitude of gratitude. You might have a love and money conflict, and your challenge is having balanced values. So don't be too focused on money. And 7 is the spiritual card, spiritual number. So that's why it says victory through faith. So you're not going to, don't be so focused on money that you're not staying in the spiritual flow, I would say. Always have that attitude of gratitude. No matter what, even when things are really, really bad, instead of going into that mental hamster wheel of, oh, this is terrible, oh, woe is me, think of something nice to say to somebody. Get outside your own self, and you'll be amazed at how quick that turns things around.
And then I pulled the Rose's Kiss.
Mm.
And it's basically just saying, allow your senses to awaken and connect with your innate desires to experience all life has to offer. Just take a deep breath and focus and center in on the feeling of joy.
Nice.
And that's a pretty doggone good way to be. Um, all right, next up we got Samantha S. July 15th.
Got the King of Clubs again. So here we go. Master of the mind, master communicator, intuitive, live your truth, mental success, and your challenge is being controlling. So there's another person, this would be someone else would be a good card reader or intuitive person, a good psychic. Practice those skills, work on them, and let go of that controlling little voice that might say you can't do this or whatever. Live your truth, know that that's what's inside of you, and go for it. Even if you're not a YouTube reader online, or you're not giving readings or whatever, you can still use your intuition in your own life to benefit yourself.
Oh, absolutely. And your family too. I mean, you probably have family and friends that come to you when they have a problem. You're the one they come to because you're the one that seems to know what to tell them to do to help them get through it. And that's a very important gift to have. And then I pulled for you a tall tale. And it says, you or someone else is telling a tall tale. You always know if a falsehood is spoken because it doesn't feel grounded. So tune in and you can know who's lying to you and who's just making something up. Don't be driven by fear of exposure, but be willing to do what's necessary to unmask the untruth.
It goes perfect with the King of Clubs.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of weird. We're matching up here.
And they're totally different kind of cards, card methods.
Yeah, this is the Oracle of the Seven Energies. It's Colette Baron Reed, one of her Oracle decks. And I don't remember now who I saw use it, but I saw it and I was like, wow, I really like that. Hey, that's pretty. I like that one. So, all right, next we got Pierrette, February 14th. Ooh, we got a Valentine's baby.
Yeah, for Pierrette, we have the Jack of Diamonds, inspirational idea card, good salesperson, originality, financially creative, and an idealist. And your challenge is balancing the spiritual and the material. So, you can do it. And diamonds are always, see how he's looking at that diamond there. He's focused on the money. So don't be so focused on the money that you forget the spiritual, and don't be so focused on the spiritual that you forget the financial things that you need to take care of things. So, and you're a Jack, so that's somebody with a youthful outlook, and another great card. Get out there and
fantastic.
Sell yourself. I don't mean, you know what I mean? You sell your good qualities. I don't mean get on the corner and sell yourself. Certainly don't mean that, but sell your good qualities.
Don't get caught.
Yeah. I'll just leave it at
sorry,
that.
I had to say that. I couldn't help myself.
And I think it's interesting that February 14th.
My very skewed sense of humor takes over.
We all got to laugh at ourselves, now and then. It's good for us.
Oh, God, I laugh at myself every day. Let's see. And then I pulled for you Call of the Muse. Ooh. And it says, when you feel the call of the muse, you're being invited to create, to be the artist choreographing your life, serving on behalf of the great artist, Divine Source. So this is Divine Source telling you to get creating, start being creative.
Yep.
Find what makes your heart sing and share it. Create and share that.
And being creative was one of the things that was mentioned in the Jack of Diamonds. So
yeah, it sure was.
Dose of that.
All right. Next up, we got Kathy Ritchie, January 19th.
Okay. Oh, got another diamonds card. She is the 8 of Diamonds. Financial reward. Being in the limelight, having power with money, and your challenge is material control. So again, don't be so focused on the money part, that other things get out of focus. That's not very focused. And speaking of focus, and again with the eights, you've got that infinity symbol. So that's like even if you have times when maybe money is lower, it's always coming back in. You're a person who can manifest that constant flow. And you can use that to your advantage. You can gain power through that. Just balance that power, keep it in perspective. So go play the lottery with that card, financial reward.
For sure. And then I pulled for you the Uncharted Sea. And it says, like the hero's journey, the universe is inviting you to step into uncharted waters. Something is stirring. Adventure is calling. Answer the call.
I love that card. That's one of my favorite ones in the deck.
Yeah, this is cool. I love the picture too. All right, let's see who we got next. Jess is next, January 25th.
We have for her another diamonds card. Diamonds.
Got a lot of diamonds in this community, man. I tell you what.
Isn't that funny? You think they'd all be spades of all the spiritual, but it's a lot of diamonds. So her card is the 2 of Diamonds financial deal card, balanced values, having partnership for security, and your challenge is having fear issues or being controlling. So this is somebody who would be a good person to do financial deals, to work out financial partnerships with. And this is somebody who might feel more secure if they marry a wealthy partner. But just be aware of keeping all that in balance with the 2s, keep like that teeter-totter thing. Don't let it take over your life. But
that's it.
Yeah, and then you don't have to do it all alone.
I pulled for you the Rose's Kiss, which we pulled earlier. So take a deep breath and center on feeling joy. Center on what brings you joy. Center on what you can do to bring others joy. Mm-hmm. Because that's what makes everything go a lot smoother. If you're doing what's joyful to you, then it's not a burden when you're doing it. Mm-hmm. And you're able to help a lot more people with that. All right, let's see. We got Cat Mama Meow, September 2nd. Oh, that's my brother's birthday. I got your birthday twin right here.
So for Cat Mama, we have the 9 of Diamonds, the Giver card. Now, I learned yesterday in another video she was on that she wants to be a philanthropist. You have the perfect card for being a philanthropist. It's the Giver card. Capital outlay, generous, financial completion. And your challenge is misery follows selfishness. And I don't for a minute believe that she's a selfish person. So you've got that going on. 9s are about a
for the companion in perfect harmony.
Look at that. Toot your own horn,
honey. A time of healthy, harmonious partnerships. Collaboration is key. You're bringing different gifts to the table, and you don't have to be in exact lockstep with everyone else. You do you.
That's right.
You bring your gifts.
And when you get that fairy godmother magic wand, remember me.
Yes.
Put me on your list.
Remember me
I always
too.
Look at that. Remember the Fractured Fairy Tales? Remember that cartoon with the fairy and he would like bonk?
Yes, I used to love that one. With the broken wand and she'd run into the walls.
Yeah, that music.
That was one of my favorites. Yep. All right, now we got Willow. October 2nd.
Okay, for Willow, we have the 7 of Diamonds. Victory through faith, attitude of gratitude, having a love or money conflict, and your challenge is having balanced values. So just be aware, keep your money issues in perspective. Don't let it overtake you. And, if you have faith, you'll have victory. I know that sounds so trite, but I've seen it in my own life.
Yeah.
Certainly had enough challenges, but the faith is what got me through it. So, what you got?
I pulled for you Open to Discovery.
Ooh.
It says, as you collect information from the outer environment, you assign meaning to it, and the amount of data we sort through exceeds what we're capable of processing. So we need to learn to kind of guard what it is we let into our psyche as we're out and about and doing everyday things, because you don't want to harm others no more so than you want to be harmed yourself. So it's important to try to stay as plugged in as you can to the universe so that you'll know truth when it's there.
Beautiful.
And that's what I'm getting there. All right. And Marby is October 9th.
Hey, Marby.
Our next to last one, because last is Jane.
Okay. So for Marby, we've got another King of Diamonds. So that, or King of Clubs. That makes 3 of them today, I think.
Oh, wow.
So Master of the Mind, the Master Communicator, Intuitive, Live Your Truth, Mental Success, and your challenge is being controlled. So another person, see, he's focused there on the clubs. He's using it, focusing his mind. And there's just so much we can do. And it all starts with our mind, It's all in our head, no matter what it is. So there you go.
And I pulled a tall tale for you again. So speak your truth. Know your truth. You'll recognize when others are not speaking their truth.
That's an important thing. Definitely.
That's it. And I believe we got everybody. I believe that's it. We got everybody. So if I did miss you, I'm sorry. We'll get you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we'll do this again.
We'll be back in 2 weeks. And I'll post everything and send it to Juno so she can post everything, and we'll be good to go. So now it's time for our birthday girl to get her gift.
Well, and what I wanted to say is next time, if people come and want to join us again and we've done their birthday, if they want to find out when, one of their family members' birthday or a best friend or somebody, find out what theirs is, we'll do that too. It's fine. We don't need to know the year. We just need to know the month and the day.
Just the month and the day. That's it.
Like say somebody's approached you to do some kind of a business deal together and you're wondering whether you should do that. You can find out by finding out what their birth date is. We can see what their card is and see how you feel about that. So just one way of looking at it. So Jane the Seeker, happy birthday. She's 29 again, I understand. And
just
what I did
on the rose.
What I did for Jane was I'm giving her a little mini reading. This isn't a full year's reading, but we're going to get her started with some of the main cards that are going to affect her through the whole year.
And this will give you an idea of what it is that Juno does when you go to her for a full reading, and how she breaks it down, and will give you a full reading off of your birth date.
Okay. So Jane's card is the Jack of Diamonds, the inspirational idea card. She's a good salesperson with originality. She's financially creative and an idealist. And her challenge is balancing the spiritual and the material. So there you go again. And I think especially for us really creative and intuitive people, that is something that we always kind of have a challenge with, is balancing the money and the spiritual, and how to keep that all going. So that's another really positive card. So when I look at the whole year, her long-term card, this affects her for the whole year. So this goes from birthday to birthday. A year is not from January 1st to December 31st unless you're born on January 1st. Our years-long reading with the destiny cards goes from birthday to birthday. So your long-range card that affects you for the whole year is authority and values, the King of Diamonds, financial power, and he's the one-eyed king. So he's stubborn and sees only his own way. Now see how he's looking right at that diamond. Okay. So that's just telling you the base part about the card. And I just wanted to show you that because the other cards you saw, the face cards, were facing forward. You could see both their eyes. And this guy, he's really focused. But then look at that axe that's behind him, you know. So you want to be careful about where you're focused on your money. So I want to let me step back just a little bit and hold on one second. I got all my little pages here. Believe it or not, I don't have all these things memorized. I try, but I don't. So for the King of Diamonds for the whole year, you know, it's an indication of success in these areas. And it's especially useful if you're involved in your own business or enterprise, as it confers the ability to make success of that. The King of Diamonds is also considered the most materialistic of all the cards in the deck. So it may also bring out these sides in your personality. So, you know, we go through these cycles in our life, and sometimes we need to be more focused on the material. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Just be aware of it. And, you know, the King of Diamonds, that's, you know, he's the king of money. So you might find really good financial income this year. Things might really be good for you this year. Just out of curiosity, there's two other cards that affect you that go throughout the whole year, and it's the Pluto and the Pluto result card, and those cards are read together. And Jane, what I found was really interesting is your two cards for the Pluto and Pluto result card for the whole year are the Five of Hearts and the Ace of Spades, and my card is the Five of Hearts, and Shari's card is the Ace of Spades. So very curious, you know, maybe we'll do some collaborations or something. That's a possibility when you see something like that. And I won't go in deep into depth of what those mean, but I just thought that was kind of a curious thing. So to give her a little brief look at her whole year, we'll look at there's 7 52-day cycles in the whole year that's broken up that way. And each one is looked over by a different planet. So for the first 52-day cycle, which is from now until May 2nd, okay, the cards that you have for that are the Two of Diamonds and the Eight of Clubs. So bear with me one second. I'll get those right here. The Two of Diamonds for the Mercury period is a quick business deal or investment, or looking for a quick turnover. So that's just the surface meaning of that card. You know, maybe there's something that's coming up that's on the horizon for you in the next 50 days. Things that happen under Mercury, which is right after our birthday, are usually quick acting, coming and going quickly. And the second card that goes with that is the Eight of Clubs in Mercury is sudden mental success, a rapid gaining of mental power, and some new information brings you a sudden success. So boy, you got it going on right now in these next 52 days. I would maximize those energies, James. I think it's, you know, maybe your business will expand a whole lot right now. And, you know, could be about partnerships. So I think those are good cards. And then if we go in, we'll just go into the next one, which is your Venus phase. And that's from May 3rd to June 24th. You have the Six of Spades. In Venus is settled matters in home with personal relationships, making adjustments and compromises in the home and with those close relationships to maintain balance and harmony. So those are just things that you can focus on. Things that happen in your Venus phase have to do with relationships, love, you know, emotional things, things that deal with family. And the other card is the Two of Hearts. In the Venus period is satisfaction in love and romance, the love of a close friend or lover. So you've got, you know, these next 104 days, you've got really good cards showing up. There's no challenges, you know, nothing deceptive. Like the Jack of Spades can be a deceptive card, for example. But you've got all good stuff coming. I would really relax into it and don't worry and focus on the positive part of it, and then you'll draw more of that positivity in towards you. So that's just a brief overlook of what a reading would be like. It's more involved than that, but I just thought
Very
you
much so, yes. And then, Jane, I pulled for you quieting the mind. It says, because life is so chaotic, busy, loud, and frenetic, basically just very overwhelming. Spirit is reminding you to take the day and rest, relax, focus on spirit, bring that into your mind so that you're not overwhelmed all the time, because it can get overwhelming. Even though we're all doing spirit's work here, sometimes just trying to keep up with everything that's going on, it can become very overwhelming for all of us, and we all go through it. And so it's learning to step back, unplug, and focus on what's important. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
And I'm
And
not going to
sometimes,
sing that for you either, because you would regret it. So
sometimes we accomplish the most by like setting in our mind what we want to do, and like it might be overwhelming to think about all the details. Just relax, give the details over to the angels, and go lay down and take a nap. And you'll be amazed at how the blanks get filled in. All those little details somehow miraculously get taken care of.
I love naps.
Me too. I love one every day at least once.
Every day on my lunch break, I go out to my car, I lay back the seat, and I take like a little 20-minute power nap. And boy, that does it. Right there. It's like that helped get me through the afternoon. So,
Sometimes we accomplish the most by doing the least,
Very true. Very true. Well, thank you everybody for coming today. Hopefully we didn't go too long for anybody. Looks like most everybody's still here, so I'm very thankful for that. We will be back in 2 weeks at 4:30. I will post it, and if you have already had a destiny reading for yourself with your birthday, think about somebody else who you want to see where they're at. Maybe your spouse or your kid or your parent or your friend or your business partner, whatever. Like I said, all we need is the month and the day. We don't need the year. And please go to Juno's channel and like, subscribe, and share. And do the same with my channel, please. I'm still fundraising for myself, trying to pay for this eye treatment that I need to get done. It's not medication. It kind of got out there that it was a new medication. It's not medicine. It's like wearing a VR helmet, and it's like a red laser light type stuff they shoot into your eyes. It's because I have what they call ocular high pressure. There's too much pressure in my eyeballs. And according to the specialist, I'm an excellent candidate for it. And it's been approved by the FDA. It seems to be very successful, and my insurance company won't pay for it, which is why I'm trying to raise money to pay for the treatment, because it's a little expensive, and I just don't have that kind of money laying around. I've got just a little under half of it raised. I only need a little bit more, about $750 more, and that'll cover it. So if you are able to make a donation and would like to, I would greatly appreciate it. You can go to my PayPal, and the link is in the description box below, and you can make a direct donation. You can do it here through Super Chat or whatnot, however you're comfortable with. And thank you very much. If, however, you were living check to check and you were scraping by just trying to make ends meet, I don't want your money. Keep your money. Take care of yourself and your family first. I will, however, ask you for your prayers and your good thought and any healing energy you can send my way, so that everything gets taken care of. Because in my book, that's just as important as a dollar bill. It's just the doctors want dollar bills. They don't care about the rest of it. So, thank you, everyone. Thank you again, Juno, for a lovely and insightful day.
Thanks. And can I add
And
a couple little things to?
you sure can.
I know last time I was on, I was talking about mocking up some cards for everybody. And what I've decided, I ordered some really nice quality bicycle cards, and I found out I'm allergic to them. They've got some kind of chemical in them, and they made me quite unwell. So what I'm going to do is I'm creating my own deck. So when I can manifest enough money to have them printed, they're going to be all really nice, and they won't just be done with stickers. They'll all be printed. They'll, just like a nice deck of tarot or oracle cards. Next time we get together, just like we did with the birthday, with the destiny cards, if people have, I have migraines, I have, this hurts, that hurts, whatever, and they would like to know what to do with Jin Shin Jyutsu for self-help, please keep that in mind and bring your questions, and we'll see what we can do to guide you along that way. Please practice holding your fingers and let us know in 2 weeks how that's working out for you, and if you got
Yes,
any
give us
stories
some
to
feedback
share.
on that.
Yeah,
Yes.
and if people have questions, they can email me at junosees, SEES, at gmail.com. And the other thing is I'm going to start on my community tab. I have a donation link, and I'm going to start post a calendar for readings. I'm going to be doing a few readings a week to get up and running with that. So if anyone's interested, and you can also email me about that if, because like I said, I haven't done the posting yet. If there's some snafu there, please feel free to email me and get in touch with me, and we'll work something out.
Here you
And thank
go.
you, Shari, for having me. And I'm so excited that we're going to do this on a regular basis. I think
I
it'll
am
be
too. I've
fun.
been having so much fun with this, and I'm having so much fun with you. I feel like I've
Oh,
gained another sister. So,
me too.
um,
And keep it, and also your animal questions. If people have questions about their pets, if
yes,
there's things we can do, we're not diagnosing. We're not saying do it instead of any medical treatment or any therapies or anything. But if we can help
no,
you help yourself in the meantime, we'd love to do that.
it's no different than sitting and rubbing your temples when your head hurts. I mean, except that you might find that there's a better place to rub to get rid of that headache than your temples.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
um, thank y'all very much for coming and spending time with us. Thank you for hanging out all the way through it. We appreciate it very much. Thank you, Juno, for
Sure.
all of your knowledge and insight. And we will see y'all in 2 weeks.
And happy birthday again to
Happy
Jane,
birthday
and
again
happy
to
St. Patrick's Day to
Jane.
everybody. Go drink some green beer or have a green
Happy
cupcake or
Patty's Day.
something.
That's right. Happy St. Patrick's Day. And y'all have a great week. Getting ready to start a new week. So let's go have fun. And I will talk to y'all soon.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.